Good afternoon. I didn't wake up till 2 o'clock this afternoon. Some stuff going on that I'm going to go through here. I spotted the ex-Lithuanian cellmate the other day when I was in a family area near my family. And that's the second time I've spotted him now. So I've told my kids, stop with all the fucking nonsense distracting me in case I've got to go fucking full fucking on this guy. Don't be distracting me now, because it could be very important. So today I've had my systems being fucked about with after catching something on video yesterday, which I've just shared. Right. Dogs are all fed and awake. I'm still waking up, yawning and stretching. Wasn't doing anything last night. I was just vaping. Lovely sunny weather out there today. Dogs have been out playing in that. I've just started listening to this. So I'm going to leave that running in the background while I open the windows for the fools out there to hear as well. Because they're banged out there trying to get a reaction. Right, so we'll turn it right up and we'll just let them know what I'm doing now, because they're so curious to get the reaction. Right, because I'm educating myself, aren't I? Right, so yeah, I've just recorded a video on that. Has no sound on it, but something was being messed about with. Wait! Hey! You got dinner, I got water. Get up from there then. Get up. Get your ass off my pillow. Move! Move! Get your ass off my pillow. It's my fucking pillow. Lay the fuck down. Lay the fuck down. That's it. You get off me vape. Stop being nosy about stuff that doesn't concern you, bitch. Lay down then. Lay down. Did your head fucking ping up in the air, did it? Go on then, go lay down. Or you're going to lay down there. Let's move my pillow away from your arse end. Come here then, fatty girl. You want these cuddle, do you? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here, girlie. Not boys, was it? Right, you go down there then. You go down there at swell, since you won't fucking listen. Right, you want to lay there, you lay there then, Hulkster. I've got shorts on, so it don't matter. Lay down, girlie. Good girl. That's it. Yeah, you want to come lay down? You can lay there, yes, alright. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. I'm trying to do something. You will do as you're told, boy. But enough of my kids stressing me out just lately. Changing my fucking sleep patterns and everything else. while I'm having to focus on something that might be a serious problem. It's got to be done in a way that isn't going to get me fucking problems, is it? Because the guy tried to get my sentence extended, didn't he? The grassing fucking Lithuanian. So why is he hanging about round family area, waiting to get a reaction? Yeah. I'll be coming out your fucking little car that you were sitting in, waiting to see me walk past, and then when I stop in front of you to get a good look to make sure that it is you. You didn't dare follow me, did you? On foot. Where I could get you. No, you didn't fucking dare do that, did you? Right, you sneaky fucking little bastard, lay down like I just told you, or you're going to change my mood already. No, it's not a fucking game, Hulkster. Lay the fuck down now. Right, get the fuck off my bed then. Get the fuck off my bed then. Do as you're told. Don't be pushing your luck with me, boy. That's better. Make me reach for my vape. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, woke up in a good mood. Took me antidepressant. Sun shining, let the dogs out on their own in the garden. No problem. I trust my dogs. Right, let's have a listen.
This video now. Today's subject couldn't be more serious. It's about the Nuremberg Code of 1947.
Oh.
During the Second World War, of course, many atrocities were committed, and a certain group of atrocities were experimentation on human beings. Deeply evil acts. Now, my life kind of changed a bit, really, when I went to this villa here. This is the Wannsee Conference Villa. And on the 20th of January 1942, Reinhard Heydrich and Adolf Eichmann and cronies met here in this beautiful setting near Berlin to work out what they euphemistically called the final solution. And this whole villa now, in immensely good taste it has to be said, but very distressingly, has been converted into a memorial stroke museum for victims of human experimentation. I'm not going to show you the material that I photographed.
Why they do it these days. Not saying what's coming in this.
As I say, life-changing experience.
I haven't seen
Nuremberg
it,
Code.
but I know what he's
based
getting
on
at.
10 points. The first one, all people that are experimented on in human experimentation, and this is sometimes necessary.
Now you know why Boris Johnson and co should be charged with war crimes against the UK population.
It must be utterly voluntary.
Chris Whitey
and
as
they
well.
must have complete informed consent to know what they're doing. And I'll unpick some of the details on that later. But free will, informed consent.
Along with any in America that are pushing it on the people in this country as well and globally.
Second point. The
war
human
crimes.
experiment must be the only way to get the information. And that information must be worthwhile. It must be worth getting that information.
I caught them flying dangerous materials over my head yesterday on video with a fighter escort
but based on the best available
heading
science.
to
So
Ukraine.
some sort of
No
leap
doubt.
into the dark, some completely, I don't know, completely untested technology, for example, that we're experimenting on
Just put the video
millions
up.
of people with. It must be based on the best available science and previous knowledge with full experimentation, getting up to that stage. Fourthly, it must avoid any unnecessary suffering. There must be no unnecessary suffering in human experimentation. Not saying there should be zero suffering, but it shouldn't be unnecessary. But of course it's all entered into completely voluntarily. I've had experiments done on me at work, but I've volunteered to go into it. A physiological calibration of instruments have been done on me when I was young and fit. Fifth point, death will not occur. There must be no reason to expect that subjects will die.
Oh.
Now, there is a
So it
caveat
is a war
here that
crime,
the experimenting doctor may choose to experiment
Innocent
on himself,
deaths.
and if he dies, then that's his informed consent. But apart from that, death will not occur, certainly not to the subjects. Sixth point, the risk that is taken must be proportional to the potential benefit and the outcome that comes from the experiment. So this has got to be a reasonably expected beneficial outcome which is proportional to the risk which has been taken. There must be anticipation of any possible injuries or deaths. Even if this is a remote possibility, this must be anticipated. In other words, people carrying out human experimentation must think ahead.
And he knows I'm watching
Must
him.
anticipate
It's like
what could possibly
double
go
breathing, double
wrong
heartbeat.
here. Has this always been done
not fruit
in the
vape
time period
juice.
since 1947?
Fans on.
Is up
blowing
to your
it that way.
interpretation. Eighthly, the research must be conducted and closely supervised by proper doctors and scientists. So it's not take this experimental treatment, off you go, live your life as normal. I might see you if there's a problem, but no. It has to be closely, properly supervised by the relevant experts in the field. Ninthly, the
Don't
subject
forget,
may
been taking
opt
it
out
easy
at
because
any
my ankle's
time.
been playing up
So the subject can say, no,
from
I don't
lugging
know
that
this, I'm
heavy
opting
load
out,
about
forget
the
it,
other day.
walk away at any time, completely free to do so. And the 10th point
Dog
is the
food.
doctors, scientists conducting the research must be prepared to terminate the research if they think there is a significant or realistic risk of unacceptable levels of harm to the individual being experimented on. So that's the Nuremberg Code of 1947. Now, I am going to post the whole thing for your perusal. I think we'll have to just have a quick look through some of the main points now on the overhead. This is the Nuremberg Code 1947. It's in many historical documents. It was doctors on trial, doctors and nurses after the war. And it's frightening to think that in a relatively modern, sophisticated country, doctors and nurses
Killing of what was that?
with the elimination of human beings, other human beings thought were substandard and deserved to be eliminated. The doctors and nurses could
I was looking at, was it?
actively take part in this because they were told to, is simply a modern, sophisticated country, doctors and nurses. It's in many historical documents. It was doctors on trial, doctors and nurses after the war. And it's frightening.
Doctors and nurses participated in the killing of physically and mentally impaired Germans. Right, so what's been done in England then? What are they trying to do? Just let that sink in. Physically and mentally impaired Germans. Physically, and mentally, impaired people. Right, so that includes most of the people around me as well. Because these are disabled bungalows. Right? Now you get why I'm playing it loud out of an open window while being monitored. Right? What am I actually showing them?
To think that in a relatively modern, sophisticated country, doctors and nurses,
because they trusted
collaborated
the UK government
with the elimination
to get injected with their poison.
of human beings,
Right?
other human beings,
I didn't.
thought were substandard and deserved.
But
to
I
be
am a target.
eliminated. The doctors and nurses could actively take part in this.
Section
because they were
imprison
told to.
or kill, remember?
Simply
Investigatory Powers Act.
doctors and nurses do what they're told.
And now I've got
Appear
someone
in the
following me
situation
about.
to the point of ending the lives of
Right?
other people.
Got someone following me about
This comes from
who
the
tried to extend my
Roman
sentence.
Doctors' Trial 1946.
So they're
Now, the
trying-
doctors argued, this is the codes here. You
An
can look them up
actor's
yourself. I've
at
put some
play,
pictures in.
isn't he?
That their experiments
I
were no
spotted
different
him
from those
near
that they
the,
conducted before, and there was no law anyway, so they could do what they wanted.
Family
That
area.
was their argument. So as a result of this, the permissible medical experiments were drawn up by this Nuremberg Code, part of the Nuremberg trial process after the Second World War, published by the American government in this
I'm being
document.
distracted by part
Here's
of
the
my
first
family
point.
that's all
Voluntary
jabbed
consent of the
and
human
blah blah
subject is
blah.
essential. They have to have legal capacity to give consent.
That's not
So
thinking
people
right.
who don't have capacity cannot be experimented on. They should have completely free to.
I've had no phone call
exercise
winding me up
personal
today,
choice
so that's a good sign.
without any intervention.
Maybe
element of
actually-
force, fraud,
it
deceit,
actually
duress,
sunk in.
overreaching, and all the legal safeguard languages that are included. There must be no coercion.
Without the
They
intervention
must
of
have
any
sufficient
force,
knowledge to
fraud,
give
deceit,
informed consent,
or coercion.
understanding and enlightened decision before they
Right.
say yes to anything. They
Right.
should know the nature, duration.
You haven't given any
purpose
bloods
of the
lately,
experiment. They should
haven't
know the
I?
methods,
Why was that?
all inconveniences and
Because you
hazards that
fucking
can be
collapsed my
reasonably
vein,
expected.
didn't you? In
Other
prison.
adverse effects should be made clear before the start of
Checking
the
for
experiment, before they decide
drugs
if they
that I
want
hadn't
to
taken.
cooperate.
Hadn't
This
taken
must
any
be open,
drugs.
clear and above board.
because I'd
Full
already
information
caused
can
power
be given.
cuts, hadn't I?
And part of the reason I'm angry is because I wasn't given full
No,
information
nor was I.
in some events that have occurred over the past few years by people that should have given me full information over the past few
Why
years.
am I angry then?
How can you make an informed decision
Why am I angry?
without full disclosure by those leaders that have power?
Tried to kill me. In prison.
It's the duty and responsibility of the person
Tried
conducting
to
the experiment.
damage me further in prison, and that was prison authorities.
It's a personal duty they have
For
to do
the
that
state.
themselves. You can't delegate it to someone else. Second, the experiment should yield fruitful results. Can't get it by other means.
They was shot
some
though when
random
it was squirting around their
idea.
office. And then the power
It doesn't
cuts
actually
started,
say
3 of
there
them,
shouldn't be a financial motive.
just
in
like I
Nuremberg
said was
Code.
happening.
But maybe we should add that as point 11. There should be no financial motive by the
And the real
experimenter on the being
plague carrier
experimented
ended
on
up in a leg coffin.
to make money out of people being experimented on. That's so appalling. It didn't even seem to be considered in 1947. This was ideological rather than financial. To me, it goes without saying that people should not be experimented on for others to make money out
The
of.
German family.
Point 3, experiments should be based on previous experimentation with
Yeah,
full
we've all
knowledge
seen the
of some
photographs of
harebrained
them
idea
as
that we
children
simply don't know
doing
what
the old
outcome
Zeke
will
Heil
be. If we have
salutes in
full
the
knowledge and we just
privileged
build it to the next
gardens.
stage, then we're more likely
You know
to
what I
get it
mean?
right than if it's completely new.
And that was her herself, the one that ended up in the leg coffin.
4. The experiment should avoid unnecessary harm and
Taught
suffering.
that as children she was.
5. No experiment should be conducted if there's an a priori reason believing death
Best
or
place for her then, wasn't it?
disabling injury will occur, except perhaps
Experimenting on the
experiment
population like
themselves
fucking
takes
Nazis.
them
Oh.
themselves. And there are many
And
notable
the other
examples
fucking
of
one that
self-experimenters
ended
in
up
history.
in the
John Hunter
place beside her.
famously infected
Oh,
himself with
he was a eugenist, wasn't he, involved with
sexually
Nazis during the
transmitted
Second World
mucus,
War, his family.
to work out the nature of
There's
those
the
former
connection.
diseases. Barry Marshall infected himself with
Now why am I
Helicobacter
laughing?
pylori to demonstrate the effectiveness of his eradication therapy, and went on to save untold millions of. Well,
What did he say? He wanted to come back as a virus?
from peptic ulceration.
See me laughing about that one now.
That determined by the importance of the problem.
Well, you just roll up your sleeves and take your injection then, because you never know what's being put into you, do you?
Provided to protect experimental subjects against even the remote possibility of death.
That Duke of Edinburgh was a twat anyway, wasn't he? Fancy saying something like that. Wants to come back as a virus.
It's very simple.
So enjoy your injections, folks. Your boosters.
Very highly qualified people.
Roll your arms up for the government, because that's your heroin supplier, you junkies.
3 well qualified people who live, I don't know, let's say in Geneva, saying, oh, we should do this. They should be experimenting supervising every single subject that's being experimented on. We need the expertise and the supervision together.
So someone's actually talking sense then, aren't they?
9. Subject can pack in at any time, finish at any time, and the experimenter may need to bring the subject. They may need to bring the experiment to an end at any time.
So,
fully prepared to do
number 10, during the course of the experiment, let's just...
That's the Nuremberg Code, 1947.
So
Makes
I
a
can
lot of
read
sense
that
to
properly.
me. I'd like to see a new clause inserted
Number 10.
for the subject can pack in at any time,
Right,
finish at any time,
so
and the
pre-release.
experimenter may need to bring the subject.
Let's just have a look at that. During the course of the experiment, the scientists in charge must be prepared to terminate the experiment at any stage. That continuation of the experiment is likely to result. Doesn't say if. Let me read that again. During the course of the experiment, the scientist in charge must be prepared to terminate the experiment at any stage. That continuation of the experiment is likely to result in injury, disability, death to the detrimental subject or whatever that is. It's just experimental subject. So I would be the experimental subject, wouldn't I? Because I've got something that they want, and I've just proved it in the Sunday video, yeah?
I'd like to see a new clause inserted for the financial gain, but it's a pretty comprehensive, well drawn up document after the doctor's trial at the time.
So I've accused them of targeting my family, haven't I?
The indictment on humanity that it needed to be done.
We want reparations. I'm definitely
moved on from then. Of course, we hope so.
Certain of why my family was targeted.
If history does anything, it's a warning.
Yeah.
History is a warning for the future.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I'm going to overinterpret, we'll leave it there. Now let's finish on a brighter note, for goodness sake. This is from our community health project in Uganda. Now, we're actually buying at the moment maize because it's quite cheap in Uganda at the moment, and it gets very expensive later on and poor people can't afford to buy it. So we're buying the maize. We've got a mill now, so we're going to mill it and sort of kind of spread the prices out so poor people don't starve. And we're also feeding directly 100 poor children. So, but I'll let Mufafa talk about it, and then yeah, we'll just 2 minutes. Give it 2 minutes. Great project. I'm totally convinced by it.
Yep.
I want to share with you some information from our gardens and then some good news from Dr. John. So I will start with a report from our gardens. We are in a harvesting season in the community.
Did the same thing.
Harvesting
Just
season
putting
is
him in
ending.
contact with
But
a supplier
the good thing is we were
that buys
able to
tea and
harvest
coffee.
1.8 tons
Did the
of
same
maize
myself
from our
to help
gardens.
those people in Africa.
We also harvested
Just glad to help.
peanuts and beans. So we are
Person
going to
still on
be
my
able
friends
to provide
list.
food for those ones who don't have.
His family's doing
And
very well,
school-going
and so are the
children also.
people in his
So,
community around him.
We are very happy. We
All
hope to
smartly
provide
dressed,
for at
looking
least
well and
100
healthy,
children a meal,
living a good
at least
life.
for
Was
some
glad
good
to help.
months. So the good news is Dr. John sent us money that we used to buy 13 tons of maize. We are doing this because during the
Don't get people come up to you very often online and say, do you know anyone that wants to buy tea or coffee? It's like, what? Is that a euphemism? What are you saying? My family owns a coffee plantation.
So
oh, right.
From different areas and
part of my family owns a tea plantation. Okay, yeah, no. Yeah, I don't mind helping you at all, bro.
Hiking of prices just after a short time.
So I looked up
to buy food in
on the internet for him,
and we are still
the English
buying
Tea Corporation.
When there is someone who is interested
Traders.
in buying for us.
Just looked it up
The
online
idea is we
and then
want
sent
to
him the link.
store
So there you go.
food in large quantities from the community, such that in time of
What contracts you agree to get into is your family's business,
Yeah, okay.
not mine.
So when Mufafa says the gardens, he means the agricultural land.
Don't
that
agree
we
to
bought.
nothing
1.8
unless
tons
you're
of maize
happy
from there, plus the
with
beans for the protein.
what you're being
Also, the
offered.
beans, of course, are
That
legumes,
would
so
be
they're
my
plowed
advice.
back into the soil. So soil maintenance is a very big part
All
of
the
this.
best to you all.
And at the moment in Africa, there are corporate
Thank you very
interests
much,
buying
brother.
up agricultural land. So
Kind
I'm glad that we've
regards.
got at least this small piece that we've got a completely mutual trust with the Ugandan
There you go.
government now.
That was a
To
different
make that
American,
land, secure.
African country. I think it was
Now, when
Kenya or
he says
something
I
like
sent
that.
money, he means the channel sent money, so thank you.
Like I
If
said,
you watch
I've
the
seen
channel,
pictures
that
of
helps in this
him and his
project.
friends and
We bought 13 tonnes.
the
and
local
we've just been able to
schools
send some more
and
money, so
community
we're up
out
to
there.
20 tonnes now.
You know,
So,
I get
it's
friends
really going to
requests,
help in food
but
security for
I
that
can't
area.
accept
And as well
them
as that,
because
maybe even more importantly, this is a model that can be followed in other parts of Africa. It's community based. This is not aid. We don't
you know
do
what I mean.
aid. It is
I
empowerment.
just stick with him and he shows
course,
me
if you
how
like to
the
be involved in
local
this, we'll put something
community is
circular. You can talk to
benefiting
Mufafa
from
directly.
what we help to do.
So interesting. We're doing the agricultural food security work as well as the direct medical work. So brighter note to end on. Sorry if the Nuremberg Code bit was a bit depressing, but I think it needed to be. It needs to be discussed because we have to learn from the mistakes of history, otherwise we are destined to repeat them.
That's right.
Thank you for watching.
So, do you think those that are listening, trying to get the reaction outside, actually listened to what that guy was saying on the video? Or do you think they're just going to run and get their next booster? Yeah, the Americans are going crazy for rain at the moment, aren't they? Right. I was listening to his music. I went right the way through his music yesterday. I was totally impressed. So I subbed his channel. But it appears that from what I I watched No Life Shack reacting to him last night. He's like, man. And then I watched another one, and they were saying the guy's now got 1 million subscribers on his YouTube channel. I was like, wow, that guy's just blown up in a couple of months, hasn't he? But he started getting ill. He's been ill for a long time, and it turns out it was from a tick bite. So that's why it's important to flea and tick treat your dogs. Right? Poor old Boomer suffered with that. Took me ages to try and get him treated through the vets and everything. It was affecting his skin and everything, which meant it was in his blood and everything, didn't it? So, yeah. And then he got weed killed and everything else by the fucking idiots here. And, you know, eating blades of grass through the fence that were being sprayed. Yeah. Started getting growths coming out of his arsehole. I was shitting the grass out, so it had gone right the way through his system. Ugh, poor boy. A fallen, poisoned victim. Yeah. So I was right about that all along as well. Yeah. Someone's actually asking the question, will vaccinated individuals die in 3 years? And that's a medical lecture. I'm not going to press it because don't want to put me on a downer for the day, will I? You know what I mean? Some of my family believed what they was told. Yeah. Right, hold stop. Stop fucking invading my elbow space, please. I know you just want to lay against me today, but yeah, I was just snacking yesterday. Just vaping because I wanted to just enjoy my music while the dog was in the hallway, listening for any noise outside. Since someone had been fucking about in my garden the night before, so I was laying in wait. Because that happened after I saw the guy, actually, in the family area. So, as I put this video online, and a content creator will probably see it, he will know my mindset of how I'm viewing the situation now, won't he? Yeah, so we will find out the truth if I spot the guy a third time, won't we? Yeah, we will find out the truth about what I am and what I can do if I spot him a third time. either around me or my family's areas, because he doesn't come from this city. You remember the Lithuanian that was grassing me up in Russian, the same as he grassed up his previous cellmate in Russian, because he'd told me about that. And then he tried grassing me up in Russian to a Russian screw. Tried to get the Russians to fucking manipulate the Russians because he was worried about the fucking war and the brainwashing through the TV screen, moaning like a fucking... Ugh, it's proper doing my head in. But the British weren't fucking falling for it. Only some were that was trying to play games. So when the Russian came downstairs to fucking stare at me through the cell window, and then I was like bouncing up and down all hyper trying to get out the fucking cell to get to him. And I had those two English people that was fucking banging on the fucking thingy. You know what I mean? So that exposed who they was. Screws are sitting back on the fucking system watching it all unfold. So they've, right, tugged up one out of there. He lost his fucking little job. They moved a big guy onto his job. The other guy, he was alright. He weren't a problem. I'd already spoken to him a little while previous. Yeah. Weren't a problem with him. He saw what happened in the medical room, because he was doing the cleaning around there. So he knew what happened in there. Yeah, so that can be verified. I called him Honey Monster. Yeah. And they said, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? This was a blue t-shirt. Yeah, I said, you'll see when I have a word with him. And he's like, in medical queue the following morning. I said, yeah. I said, how are you doing this morning? He said, alright. I said, yeah, same here. I said, just got to have a quick word. He said, alright. He said, yeah. I said, you know when you come stomping down the landing at me like a mardy honey monster, saying you're dead. Yeah, just as I was going to go in the showers. Yeah, and I turned around and walked back to my cell. Right. That weren't nothing to do with me, what you had the hump about. Weren't me bringing that heat, was it? So I told him who it was that was bringing the heat. Yeah. I said if I could see that, Screws definitely could see that. Right. He said, oh, alright, yeah, got ya, all cool. Right. Blue t-shirt guy, he was cool anyway, so I wasn't saying nothing I shouldn't have been saying there. Yeah, but in there they was yellow t-shirts, not blue t-shirts, because it was Peterborough. Big old bodybuilder, stomping about like a Mardy honey monster. I'm only a little guy, ain't I? But he got my sense of humour, so he didn't take it as an insult. I didn't know his name, so I just called him Honey Monster. You know? There's a point to what I'm saying. Because like I said, I'm seeing this Lithuanian. I've seen him twice now. Once on the second to last probation visit, where he would have known where I was going. Yeah, especially if he was being told where I was going. Because like I said, actors were in use because it was Investigatory Powers Act, wasn't it? So the actor in play that I've spotted twice now, if I see him a third time, I will just take it as fact that he's the actor and that the section in prison and from the codes of use for the Investigatory Powers Act is at play. And I will take all appropriate steps to remove the problem, so there is no threat, and I'm not going back to prison. So work that out, because I will not be phoning the police. Or going to the police about it. But it will be dealt with. Remember what they did when I said you put me back in that cell with him. There's only one person going to be alive, and you will be removing a body bag. Do not make me go back in that cell with him, because I don't feel like dying today. I had to trust those screws, get bent up, or walk back into that cell if I was forced to. They said, you've got to go back in that cell. I'm surrounded by 5 or 6 screws. I'd already removed the threat by putting my walking stick on the side and said, like, I'm not going to be picking that up, it's not a weapon. And I don't want to hurt you. So I'm going to walk back to the cell. But if he's in there and you force me to go in now, you know what's going to happen. That's okay, they said, but you are going back to your cell. I said, okay. So I walked back to my cell, surrounded by the screws, They opened the door and said, "Get in there." So I just walked in there, ready to do it on the spot, with all the them behind me. Right? So it would have been walk straight in, if he was there, straight for the throat, dead. That's what would have happened if they'd have pushed me into that cell with him in there. But he wasn't in there. They'd already removed him. I didn't know that. But I was literally going to do the job in front of them, if forced to. No lie. The only one that's moved away from that energy was Marnie. Right. She's laying against my legs while I'm in that energetic state talking about it. The temperature has chilled quite substantially now here, so oh dear. So remember, no smoking yesterday. Still got no cigarettes. Was only smoking vape yesterday because I was laying in wait for someone in case someone got brave, decided to fuck about in my garden again, just to try and unnerve me. So no smoking at all yesterday. Right, I just fucking unscrewed that. You heard me unscrewing it. Right. So, no smoking at all yesterday. Even though I could, if I wanted to. Arthritic pain, remember? Do you see what I mean now about taking it or leaving it? I can take or leave it, it doesn't. I don't use it like that. It's not addictive. Whereas pharmaceutical drugs from the state are addictive, aren't they? And they have side effects, don't they? right? Yeah, I've seen this high Ren thing what I've been getting into lately, or the Ren singer. He's talking about psychosis and everything, because that's what he's been suffering from Lyme's disease, from a tick bite. Right. He's being analysed by music specialists, voice coaches, music, and they're all saying like, wow, this is just wow. And then I saw a therapist commenting on his music. Yeah. She's describing his mental battle. Yeah. So it was a Lyme's disease misdiagnosis that caused him to have to go down that road of self-discovery and just to find out what was actually happening to him, and it was him that discovered it. Yeah. So his own medical quest, looking up information, this, that, same as what I've been doing over the PTSD. I've always said it's not psychosis, it's PTSD from when I was gassed. Right? Because it didn't start before I was gassed. Yeah, it started after I was gassed. So it wasn't cannabis psychosis. It was PTSD from being gassed. Right? Had to look up the information themselves. Doctors don't like being told because you're looking at it all up yourself. But this guy has proved what I've said about doing it that way, and he's still able to come through that by expressing it through his music. And he's doing it all at home himself, mixing, making hooks, beats, drops, whatever. He's doing it all at home from his bedroom because he can't leave the house because of his condition and his psychosis and everything else. So, like I said, I've been bit by bit picking up bits of knowledge about music from Frog Loop Studios, showing me the apps and that they use to mix, create, blend music. Ren's doing exactly the same thing. Other musicians are now saying, well, I use this app, I'm going to be releasing some videos soon on that, on how to do that and mix and make music yourself. Yeah, another guy that's had lots and lots of problems from PTSD and other issues connected to his situation. Not going to go into that because that's his private life, isn't it? If he was to talk about it, he'd talk about it. So I'm not going to drop a name in with that, but it's a musician, a famous one. So I'll get his struggle as well, which is why I support his channel.